so glad that you are here. I know I start this kind of video every time with the same, hi guys, I'm so glad you're here. But I really am. If you have forgotten, this is Arts, Not Farts. Yes, I want you to laugh every time you hear it. It's even funnier when I try to type it in as a password or for my email and things. People look at me like I'm a little strange, but that's just the way it is. I wanted to make sure I mentioned at the very beginning that there is an Arts Not Farts Facebook page, which is where you're at right now. Let's face it, that's how the videos are there. But then there's also an email, artsnotfarts2020@gmail.com. That is where if you have a question about art, I will try to find the answers. Again, remember, I'm not an official art teacher. This is just something that I really like to do, and I really like to share stuff that I've learned with other people. So that's what this is about. That's what we get to do, and we're going to have fun while we're doing it. I'm a little bit goofy. I'm a little bit crazy sometimes, so that's why we get to do fun stuff in here. Today is nothing unusual. Today is just about as normal as it gets around me, if you know what I mean. But last week, we started this whole Arts Not Farts introduction with a story about the dot. And I love that story, and I shared it with you. Now, we are going to talk now about mosaics. And the very fun part about mosaics is a lot of times they start out as dots. Mosaics, I've got my notes over here on my iPad, so please don't think I'm being rude as I'm looking over, but mosaics are more than just paintings. Mosaics are pictures or items that are made from several small things. They can be made of shells, they can be made of pearls, they can be made of little pieces of gems, of diamonds. That'd be a really expensive one. They can be made of glass. The earliest ones that I was able to find some research on, the earliest ones that we've been able to find was actually dated back all the way to 5 BC, the millennia of 5 BC, so that's a really long time ago, in Mesopotamia, and they were using them in shells, and they were using in rocks, things that they had available to them. Now, if you are a history buff and I said that wrong, please send me an email so I know that I said it wrong, and I will definitely make sure to reword that and apologize greatly. This is, like I said, the research that I was able to find. Now, if we keep going though, and we look in Italy, there are all kinds. The Good Shepherd is a mosaic in the Mausoleum of Galla Placida in Ravenna, Italy. I hope I said that right. I really did try to make sure I said these words right. The entire inside of the St. Mark's Basilica in Venice is nothing but elaborate golden mosaics. These are all little bitty pieces that went in and they showed to make these large, beautiful paintings. But here's the really cool thing. Mosaics are not just old styles of creating art. They're used even today. I challenge you, I would bet that there are mosaics even in your town or even I would dare say in the bathrooms. If you look around, you would see in the tiles where they're actually little pictures. It's amazing when you start looking how you see art in everywhere. It's so exciting. Now, this is a very popular craft. Mosaics are very popular, and they're designed to go anywhere, and anybody can do them. That's the fun part. Mosaics can be done by anybody, and they can be done in paint, and that's what we're going to get to do today. I'm going to show you a way that we can do a painting with paint, with paint, of course, but with mosaics. We're going to do a mosaic painting of a tree. Now, what you're going to need, I'm going to go ahead and let you know. I've got my easel set up here. You do not have to have an easel, but for me, I found that it's easier to tape with an easel so you can see what's going on. Now, I also have a canvas. This is a canvas that you can pick up at your local craft store. You can pick up at Walmart. You can pick up a lot of different places. This again, you can use paper, which is an easy way to paint. You do not have to have a canvas. This again is just my personal preference for while I'm taping. You're going to need some paint. I'm going to tell you now, I am not a paint snob. If you have acrylic paints or that you really enjoy working with, go for it. Use those. If you have tempera paints that you want to work with today, you know what? Go for it. Again, I'm not a paint snob. This is totally up to you. As a matter of fact, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in the comment section, in the description of this video, I'm even going to put how to make a homemade paint with your parents' permission. If you're a kid, please don't just go making paint without your parents knowing what's going on, because it can and it does get messy sometimes. So this is totally fun. Art is fun. That's what I want you guys to do. I want you to experience the fun and joy of being an art. So, and then you're going to need some cotton swabs or some Q-tips. I'm going to be using some Q-tips. You're going to need a paintbrush. You will need a paintbrush. Again, I don't care what size it is. It's what you feel comfortable with. And you're going to need a pencil. That's an unusual one when you see I've got a canvas. I'm even going to be using the canvas. I'm going to use the pencil. And I think that's about it. I am going to pause this video so I can get the rest of my supplies together, and then I'm going to give you time to do that. I'm going to play some fun music, and then we're going to get going. So until I see you in a minute, bye-bye. Now, as for paint, I kind of want to go through the names of what I have. Again, this does not mean that you have to have these exact colors, but I want to make sure that I let you guys know. This is a flowering tree that we're going to be doing. Now, that means that I've got lots of pinks and red and purple. If you want to use different colors than that because it's almost fall, and maybe you want to do yellows and oranges and reds, that's fine. If you want to do just different shades of green, guess what? I'm going to be okay with that because this is your painting and you get to be the artist here. But here's what I've got. I've got black and I have brown. That's going to be more for the trunk. I have the different reds and pinks and purples I've got a cardinal crimson. I have pink parfait. I have wisteria, pink blush. We do have some blues for the sky. We have sky blue and summer sky, and then a bright blue, a white, and yes, there's going to be even a green. That way we can have a ground for the grass to be growing on, and then some white to be mixed in all of this. I do have two different paintbrushes. One of the paintbrushes has a wider base on it. That'll be easier for us to use for the trunk of the tree and for the larger spaces. And then I have a more narrow brush for us to use for some different textures. Now, I do want to let you guys know that I did not come up with this beautiful flowering tree all on my own, because I've seen it done there. If you get on Pinterest, if you get on YouTube, there are a lot of different artists that have shown different techniques in order to do this, and that's where I've picked up a lot of this. Okay, one of them is, her name is the art, or her name on YouTube is the Art Sherpa. Her name, I think if I remember right, is Cinnamon, but she does something before she even starts painting to her canvases, and I think this is absolutely wonderful. And what she does is she has people write down their wishes. Now, I'm a Christian, and I'm going to ask you guys, instead of writing your wishes on your canvas, I would like you guys to write down if you have any prayers. Now, if you would like to write down your wishes, I'm not going to say you can't write those, but if you have something right now that you're praying about, I would encourage you to write down what those things are on your painting. Now, I put mine in the middle. I put them because I know that's where a lot of paint is going to be building up. I would use a pencil. Don't write really, really hard because we don't want it to be seen through. But the reason why I thought this was so neat is because on other paintings that I've done, and I've written it down, every time I walk by that painting, I remember that there's prayers written on that painting, and I can remember what's going on. So I steal that idea from her as well, and I thank her for doing the wishes. I really do. I appreciate it, and I'll be sure to tag her in this because I think it's very, very special. Hey guys, I'm here sitting in front of the easel with the canvas in front of me. I've got the exciting part. I've written my prayers down. You can see that I kind of scribbled out one because I wanted to change it. Well, here's what happened. My friend Tara, she needs prayer right now, but my husband Todd, he needs prayer right now too. So that became kind of a scribble. But I put a couple more things on there. So I will remember these things. Now, so that's written on there, and I'm not going to forget that, okay? But it's not something that's going to bleed through with the paint as long as I'm not writing really heavily on it, and I know that there's layers of paint that's going to go on over that. Now, something that I have learned with painting, if you're using a canvas, one of the things that you want to do is take your paintbrush. This is that bigger, wider brush. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take it and you're going to make big old X's all over it. And then get a little bit more water. And you're going to just, and you see how that smears just a little bit? That's perfectly fine. That's normal. But you're going to just kind of make big X's all the way around. All the way across, around and around. And the reason for that is when you start blending your paints, having this be wet just a little bit will help that to happen. Now during this painting, I'm not going to make you guys stay here and watch me do the whole thing, because really I'm kind of a slow painter, I'm not going to lie. But what we're going to do is we'll push pause, and then we might do some fast plays throughout. So it's going to be kind of funny. I'll try to make it quick. But now that my canvas is wet all the way around, you remember how I said we needed to have a ruler? Well, now we're going to take that ruler and we're going to make our horizon line. And this might be a little bit tricky because it is on a canvas that's wet. But if you want to take it on your paper or your canvas, whatever you're using, and I want to take it down to about 1/3 of the way down, because I want a whole lot of space for my tree and for my sky. And what you're going to do is you're going to just make a straight line across. Now, if you notice, I'm not the best at drawing a straight line with the ruler. And here's what I got to say to that. That's okay. That is okay with me, because sometimes it's just not straight. What can I do with it? All right, so what we're going to do first, though, and what I have also learned, and I want to encourage everybody to remember, is that when you're doing a painting, you're always going to be going from the back forward. So you're going to be looking at what's behind to go forward. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the sky. And as I've been talking here, I've been getting some blues together. And so this whole section here is going to be nothing but blue skies. And we might throw some clouds in there. And some people could say they're happy little clouds, but I don't draw. I can't paint those happy little clouds yet. Not as well as Mr. Bob Ross is who I'm implying. But if you can do those happy little clouds, you go for it. If you draw clouds the way that I draw clouds, and you want to add them in, that's fine. And what I did is our 3 different shades of blue, I went ahead and I mixed them together, and I've got a whole lot more paint on this paintbrush than I ever would need. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by making X's. And this is a really, to me, I really like this blue. And if you notice, it's not all mixed together completely. There's a little bit of shading. And as I go over some of my prayers, you can see that they're already getting covered up. And that's okay. But we're just going to make those little X's all the way around. All the way around. And maybe I don't make the best X's. Maybe that's part of the layering. And we're just going to keep going with the sky blue, and I think the other one was a blue sky or something along those lines. And you're going to take it all the way down to that horizon line. And if it goes down, that's a little bit behind it, that's okay. Brush for these white clouds, and I'm going to dab on just a little bit of white. I'm going to grab some of that blue, and I'm just going to kind of build in a couple of clouds here and there. So we have our sky, and we've got our paintbrushes, and we want to make sure our paintbrushes are good and washed out. Now the tree part is going to go right down the middle. And so what we're going to do is hopefully get all of these little pieces of paint out of this paintbrush. But we're gonna build up some colors for this tree. We do have some brown, because that tends to be the color of a tree trunk, is brown. But then I went ahead and I grabbed some green. Now I grabbed green because sometimes if you look at a tree branch, it doesn't always look the same exact color. So we grabbed some green. I really, really like to mix colors. That way we get something just a little bit different. And we're gonna grab this big brush, and we're going to mix it. Now you could add yellow to this, you could add orange, but we're going to get this really, really good brown, light brown color is what it's going to be turning. And the tree trunk, we get to be pretty bold and excited about. And a lot of times I've had to learn that you got to be pretty excited and pretty bold with a trunk. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start from about an inch down, and we're going to go, wide as this brush will go, and we're going to just pull straight up into the sky and then stop. And then we're going to go again, except I did that wrong. Okay, we're going to go bold straight up into the sky. And then we're going to grab some more paint. And this time we're going to go out from the tree trunk, and we're going to give it a long branch. It fades off. And we're going to do that for the other side too. And then we're going to grab the other. And right now it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a mess. And that's okay, because it can. I'm going to rinse out my paintbrushes again, but I'm not going to be using them for a little while. And I need a new easel, or a new palette, shall I say, because I need to get some more colors. Okay guys, we are back. I have done a couple of things here. I want to make sure I show you. I have went ahead and redone my palette, meaning I got a new paper plate. And what happened is I put out a couple of different colors of pink and the purple and some white and even some red, because we're going to get ready to do the mosaic part of this painting, which has been, I'm sure you've been wondering where that's been. But to do that part, we're going to use, remember those Q-tips we talked about? These can be any brand that you want to. There is no, again, we're not snobs around here when it comes to brands and stuff like that. But what you're going to do is you're going to take 3 or 4 Q-tips or cotton swabs, or however you want to phrase it, and you're going to take either a rubber band or a hair tie, and you're going to kind of tie them together. And you're going to want to wrap that around a couple times because you don't want to have them come apart too much. And then you're going to actually have fun and dab this through the different shades of paint, right? And you're going to get a couple of that. And here's the mosaic, the dots, which is funny all over itself. You get to dot anywhere and everywhere on your flowering tree. And then just go back to your colors and keep going. And notice as we're doing it, the different colors overlap and they form layers. And yes, you're going to go over your branches some, and you're going to notice that maybe you want to put a little bit more white in one area or a little bit more pink in another. And that is exactly, if you've ever looked at a tree, that's what happens, is they really do have different shades in different areas. And you can do this and just keep going. And this is just going to be on and on and on. And you're going to make this just this big and beautiful flowering cherry blossom, or I don't know, whether other springtime trees. You can choose to do whatever you want, but I didn't do any grass. And I'm going to do something really simple here for the grass. I'm going to do just some plain green. And I'm going to mix it in with a little bit from what we had from the tree. And I'm just going to mix that together. And I'm going to try not to get this to be too mixy. Nothing too fancy. This is something that really I had not thought about beforehand. But we're just going to kind of flat brush it out. We're going to bring it right up to the line. And we're just going to flat brush it. Take it side to side. Just trying to get the grass down. Because like I said, really guys, I forgot. And look at the richness that that brings. Oh my goodness, guys, I am loving this painting. And if, as you notice it, what's happening is it is causing the colors to pop. And remember how I said it's always better to do from the back forward? Well, what we should have done is put the green for the grass before the tree, but we will make this work. Look at this. Look at how this is working. Oh my goodness, guys. We're going to come right across the bottom. If it goes up over the tree some, that's okay. But we're going to, remember, we're going to try to keep this flat and even. And then we're going to come over to the other side. And we're going to try to do the same thing. The same thing, just trying to keep it flat and even. I'm going to have to turn the canvas because I'm left-handed and I can't do it the other way. And again, we're just going back and forth, flat and even. Just trying to get that green grass growing right across, right for that tree. Right for that tree to be sitting right in the middle. Oh my goodness. For this to turn out the way that it did, I'm pretty excited, guys. And I hope that you are too. I hope you are excited when you're looking at your art, because that's what art is. Art is exciting. It is fun. It is not something we have to be scared of. We don't have to be afraid that it's not going to be good enough for something, because it always is. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at your product. Look what you made. You made a flowering tree in the middle of a field. Now you can always go back through, like I'm looking at that and I'm seeing that, I think that it needs a little bit more craziness in the flowers, and you can do that. But this is your piece. If you want to be finished, then you can be finished at this point. If you want to keep going, you can. That's the fun and joy. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit more, just because I think it needs it. I think it needs just a little bit more, just because it's just a little bit too much like a square, if you ask me. So I'm just going to add some more stuff. I'm going to add some more to the blue up here, even so it looks almost like the tree goes into the clouds a little bit. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some more up here, because trees, they don't always, this one almost looks a little bit like a box, and so I don't want it to look that way. I'm going to give it some interesting feathers, feather-like, and some bumps along the way. I'm going to come back through and give it some character. Hey guys, I hope you have had so much fun. As you can tell, we've got a whole project, a whole artist painting finished in a mosaic style. I'm so excited. I hope you had fun. Until next week, enjoy, have fun with some art between now and then. Bye guys.